ways to skin the cat, although skinning cats are not the right thing to do, so don't take that in context. But at the same time, there's many different ways. You ever have someone approaches you in your business that wants advice, and as a person in that business, you're reluctant to give it to them. Why? Because you're concerned that they're going to take your business. And you're like, well, I want that job. Why would I give you advice on it? Someone came over to me yesterday and had a whole long conversation with him regarding running his business and how he should run it. Now, he's a little bit different in the business itself. We can kind of work together on multiple different projects, but the goal always is to educate them and give them more information. So I give you an example. Someone called me the other day and asked me about adding floors to buildings in certain areas within the New York area. And I told them that it's a big issue. Why? Because those buildings can't carry a third floor. And then there's nothing to carry a third floor. You should tell your clients you just can't do it. You can't just tell your clients, oh, I'll do it and then I'll deal with it. So I get calls a lot for different projects that had gotten into a situation where a particular architect or expediter had told them they could do something, and they're down the path, they're $100,000, $200,000 in the hole, and they're looking at the job. And they're like, we were told we could do this, and they can't do it. And the person who says, well, I thought maybe depending on this, and I'm going to give you money back, was depending, I put a clause in my contract. There's always a way to back out or back into a deal. There's always that aspect of a project. If you're not going to be integral with your clients, you may get one project out of it. You'll ultimately lose them in the long run. An example is I was having a conversation with my partner today regarding a project that someone sent us in Florida. And we're looking at it like, it doesn't work. And they want to pay us to do an analysis. We're like, analysis today or tomorrow, the project will never work. In 4 seconds, we can tell the project's not going to work. Now, should I go say, send me the ability to do the analysis. We'll write a proposal for you. We'll charge you to do the analysis. And then the analysis will agree with our initial interpretation that it doesn't work. That we could do that. Is that the right thing to do? I don't think so. Now, will people do that? 100%. Now, if you tell your client, say, look, I'm going to give you this analysis. You want to pay for this analysis? I'll give you this analysis. Our opinion is it doesn't work. If you don't agree with our opinion, we can give you the analysis. We can charge you to do the analysis. There has to be some type of integrity within your business. If you don't have it, you ultimately will lose clients because it'll work once. You'll get away with it until the next guy messes up. And then he'll tell his friend not to use you. And that person will tell his friend not to use you. And by the time you're done, no one's going to use you because you just messed everybody up or 10, 15, 20 people up. I get a job that has something remotely that requires an illegal work on it. 99.99%, there is certain circumstance I may agree to take something on because of a situation, but if it has an illegal component to it, it's a non-starter. It's something we would never do. It's something we can't do. Even in life, we do the same thing. If we have strong beliefs to do something and someone asks you to do it, the answer is no. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to turn down things. You need to believe in what you're doing and do it the right way, because integrity in business goes a very, very long way. And people appreciate it. And people appreciate the honesty because you're there for them. You're helping them. You're making their stuff better. You're understanding them. You're having a conversation with them. With an architecture, there's so many ways to skin the cat, although skinning cats are not the right thing to do, so don't take that out of context. But at the same time, there's many different ways to attack. I always tell everybody, there's a good 10,000 right answers. It might be a wrong answer. There's 10,000 right answers. How do you get to the right answer that's for that particular person? You need to understand them, get it right for them, because your integrity to them as your client is crucial to get the right project. So yes, there's cases where we have projects. I could have said a lot of times I'll take on a project and I know it just doesn't make sense. And I'll tell my client, it doesn't work. I don't know what to tell you, it just doesn't work. And they'll come crying to me 4 years later if they hired someone else who told them they could do it, and they're back to where they were when we told them they couldn't do it in the first place. Now they want to know how to get out of the situation. The answer is sometimes you can't. It's too late, what am I supposed to tell you? So we do our best to be as informative, to let our clients make proper decisions that are the right thing to do. And I have now a particular project where my client doesn't even know, but I'm actually doing something for him where he doesn't even realize that we're trying to help him. So he came to us with a project, and he already signed on his lease to do this project, and we told him he has to do it a certain way. He says, no, do it this way. And if I do it the way he wants to do it, it's a very big possibility that it come back later to bite him, long-term to bite him. And I know that the landlord refuses to do it this way. I had a meeting with the landlord to have a conversation on how we can make sure to protect him, that he doesn't run into this problem. Because I know that if he does it the way he wants to do it, like a cowboy, he's going to run into a problem maybe 2 years down the line. If we do it the right way, he'll never have problems. Our job is to protect our clients. Our job is to have integrity in what we do. Our job is to believe we're doing the right thing. It's not just in work, it's in life and everything we do. We need to do what we believe is right. It's if I wanted to get religious for a second, I'll explain to you. So I heard a speech this week where the question someone poses the following. If you have two boxes in front of you, right? One box says you get $1 million. No questions asked. So yours, $1 million is yours. The other box says that you get whatever God wants you to have. Which box do you take? So now, everybody's going to say, no, if I'm religious, I'll take what the one God wants me to say. But be honest with yourself. I mean, come on. Really? You really take that box? It's $1 million. You know what I mean? Cash. Pure cash. $1 million. It's right there. I think pure cash. That box got nothing in it right now. Maybe get something. Maybe you don't. Maybe give you $5. Maybe give you $10 exactly. We need to buy yourself lunch. We'll take care of you. Very, very hard to take that box that says nothing in it because that $1 million sounds very, very enticing. We have to ask ourselves on a daily basis, are we doing the right thing? Are we doing what we believe is right? And if we do what we believe is right, we will ultimately succeed. If we do what we don't believe is right because we think we have some moral understanding of what we want to do or make excuses for ourselves, we will ultimately fail. And yeah, I make excuses. I need $5 now, so I'll do a job for someone, and therefore I'm going to take my $5,000 right this moment, and even though his job is going to fail, you're not going to win at the end. Either it's going to turn into circumstances where he's really mad at you, will never use you again, badmouth you in the street, or some other circumstance may happen. You have to understand that if you do what's right by your clients and by yourself, what you believe is right, you will ultimately succeed. If you do what you think is shortcuts to get to an end goal by taking your $1 million box, ultimately you will lose. Take the better box, do what's right, and you will ultimately succeed.